Hey everyone, welcome to the Industry Show. I'm your host, Nitin Bajaj, and joining me today is Myrinda Ornelas. Myrinda, welcome on the show.
Hi, thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Glad to have you here. Let's start with who is Myrinda?
I would say she can be very complex, but also a lover of the simple things. So, as a creative, I appreciate nature and all things natural, things that we create that are unique to us. So, oftentimes I will be in nature if I can, and that's where I get my inspiration. That's where I can realign and find homeostasis again and hear myself and come back to myself rather than there's noises everywhere. So also I'm an artist. So if I have time, that also helps me get back to me and really a person who believes in spreading peace and love, as cliche as that sounds. But I try to carry that with me and forth with one-on-one relationships into my work with clients. And imagine if we all did that.
So true. And finding that peace in this noise, we cannot escape from the noise, but if we can find the peace, that's so extremely important. I'm very curious to hear what the mission and the vision is behind it that drives you to your North Star, what brings you that motivation to find that inspiration and create something out of nothing.
In my short time, I would love to leave the world a better place. And that, again, looks like being kinder. So being really more mindful, and it doesn't cost much, just a little bit of energy. But I would say through my experiences and how I've learned to be adaptive to the situation. And recently I moved back from New York to California. I should say I came back to California after living in New York for so many years. And there were a lot of life pivots that were unexpected, but it really allowed me to tap into my inner strength and resourcefulness and really know my value. And at the end of the day, it's up to me. So I have what I have to work with. And from there, just knowing what I would like to accomplish. And I think that comes from a place of good intentions, a humanitarian viewpoint, like seeking beauty in the everyday things, which so often we overlook.
Mhm.
And I think that starts from micro focusing. So again, being in nature, I'm able to just really slow down and appreciate the simple things and expand that to a broader viewpoint. And yeah, I would say slowing down really is helpful. So then you can see like, where's the source? And if we all really focused on what brings us joy, what makes us happy, then we can tap into that, strengthen it. And I think when we are happy, we're able to do more good for the world.
So true. It's in the little things, the small things that apparently are small, but does not mean they're insignificant. And as you rightly said, if we can draw inspiration and energy from those small everyday things, it brings so much clarity, it brings so much joy to everything we do. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Now, as you look at what you have created, I try to measure things in terms of impact. I'd love for you to share the impact of your work and especially in terms of the lives you've been able to positively change or impact.
I have been in the fashion industry, I'd like to say since I was a child. I've always had the knack of putting things together in unexpected ways, but sometimes somehow it worked. But that led me to doing retail for, I would say, the past 14 years. And through that, I have been blessed to interact with people on a personal one-on-one level. And really, it hasn't been about just selling to make the most money for me. If that happens after doing something, again, with good intentions, wonderful. I'm living by doing something I love and doing good. So it is true when they say retail therapy, and having a vast interest in psychology, I believe I've been able to like really marry that with the job and able to seek what are people looking for and how can these like superficial layers that we wear like better portray how we feel inside and make us feel beautiful and express what we want to in this world. So I do believe like you could consider me a little bit of a psychologist or a therapist rather. So I've been fortunate to impact hundreds of lives over the years and not even just at work, but I try to carry that through with strangers. And you just never know like what some simple kindness can do for others and instilling hope. And you really don't know what a gift that can be. So I try to walk with that.
So true. And one important thing that you called out is we don't have to be a certain way at a certain time of the day just because you're going to work, you have to be something. And when you step out, you become another person. If you have taken that upon and you want to help bring positivity to others, you can do that in every aspect of your life. And that's extremely important. So thank you for sharing that. As you go about being creative and bringing art to help people in their journeys and help them realize their best versions, what's the one big challenge you face?
As I mentioned previously, my life this last year between 2022 and 23 took a major, drastic, and abrupt change. So I was wrongfully terminated, and with the company that I moved from California to New York, and I had a very strong client base, was doing important, significant work, I believe. But unfortunately, as a blessing also, I've been more mindful of not everybody does the work, the inner work and egos, and we have to adjust our expectations of others. When I advocated for myself, that wasn't it didn't work out so well, but I'm still determined as a Taurus to persevere. And I believe things will right themselves. With that brought a move and an end to a relationship, which I also didn't expect to end. The thought that things are temporary really did play a role into it, but it allowed me to strip the layers and again come back to myself and realize like what I have and what I'm passionate about and the gifts that I was born with. And actually, like when everything is gone in a sense and you have to rebuild from the ground up, you it totally refocuses you. And I do believe that instead of looking at it as a failure, it was a pivot that redirected me to my right path. And it's a challenge, absolutely. Nobody said it would be easy, but here we are today. Like it's brought me so many blessings that otherwise I couldn't have imagined. And I'm just trying to be open to whatever opportunities may arise and just constantly continue to work and grow. And when I say work, I totally do mean from within, the
Mm.
inside out.
Yes.
'Cause, yeah.
So kudos for being strong and staying strong. This is, as you mentioned, some of these things are so foundational, so fundamental to us that sometimes we, right or wrong, take them for granted. And when those are taken away from us, it puts us in a position of adversity. And when it does, what we do with it is what comes to define us. So I'm glad that you were able to take control of that situation, go back to what your roots are and draw from it. And yeah, congratulations for coming out on the other side and allowing your strengths, allowing your network, allowing all of the connections and relationships to come and be a force of good for you.
Thank you.
Sure. Now, as we look on the other side and look at what's to come, I'd love for you to share What's that one exciting opportunity that I guess you're excited about?
Again, being open to sorry, Mike. So being open to opportunities, especially things that we don't always expect or what didn't look like what we didn't think it would look like. I've been involved in events, and that was something that on a personal level and a friend level, sure I would do. And it's something I really do enjoy. But I have been working with folks and I did an event in September called the Sip and Style, which incorporated my styling at a vintage shop. And actually, Bob from Vinos Unidos, he was a participant and sponsor for that event, which then we went to Small Business Saturday. And he was also there for that. And now I will be working with him in an upcoming event this Sunday at a floral boutique in Sherman Oaks. And she has event ideas for the future. So again, when I say we're always working, even on a personal level, when we step out into the world, you never know who you're going to meet. And so it, I'm really excited about the future. And did I anticipate that this is what I would be doing a year later? No. But it also allows me to flex my creative muscles and feel endorsed by like my vision by very inspirational and wonderful people. So I'm super grateful and really excited to see what happens next.
That's amazing. Again, congratulations. It's a journey. It's a journey we all get on at some point in our lives. And yeah, we sometimes have to sidestep, sometimes have to take a few steps back, but we come back stronger. And looks like that's where you're headed. So super excited for that. Now, as we talk about what's coming in the future, I also want to talk a little bit about the past in a way where I would love for you to share two moments. One where things did not work out as you had expected. There was failure, there were lessons learned, and another experience where things blew your own expectations and became a success beyond what you had imagined.
I think going back to the feeling of being fired, you think, man, I failed. I did something wrong. That's not always the case. Again, I think that and the relationship, it was something that wasn't meant to be part of my destiny. And I'm very grateful to that because I have been redirected back to California, which was part of the original plan. So happened in a way that, again, I didn't really plan. It was quite sudden, but sometimes we need that push.
Mm.
And I do feel like I am becoming my truest self, especially knowing my strength, being able to tap into that when I need to and learning what works for me. And then you also do learn who's actually there for you, there to stand with you in times of adversity rather than those who will say they are, but that's not always the case. I've learned that I have an amazing support army, I would say. And yeah, so coming back to myself and I feel like getting closer to my purpose and just learning to enjoy the journey again. Like failures are lessons
Yes.
and failures again, I say. And something that, again, I think that this newfound career path, I was able to, after last Small Business Saturday in San Fernando, I was able to go back to New York, which was my first trip heading back after leaving.
Mhm.
And I did a business trip. So it's always been a dream to do work by coastal. And to be able to do that after an event that I just completed and revisit with clients from the previous company who we maintained contact this whole time, like that was such a gratifying experience. And it felt beautiful to be there, like with a fresh set of eyes, filled with so much love and doing what I love and what I'm passionate about. So it was like the best of both worlds. And I've learned now that I can visiting New York is lovely, But coming back home here, it's even better. New York still had its charm and it didn't have that effect that living in New York often does.
Happy for you. That's amazing. And it's great to see that being through something, you come out on the other side, and it also brings about some of the dreams that you one day had. And at one moment, you're thinking life's taken a pause or maybe has taken you 10 steps back. And if you stay strong and stay resilient, it's most oftentimes things come around. So I'm happy that that's already starting to happen for you. Now, in all of the fun that you're having with the inner journey, exploring entrepreneurship, making new relationships and friends, what do you do for fun to de-stress, to just hit reset?
Definitely outside as much as I can. Wonderful in California. We
Mhm.
have where I live, fortunately, I'm very accessible to a bunch of trails. So I enjoy going hiking, walking, running. So really caring for my body. And I think that is important too, not to neglect. And then I have gotten back into my art, which has been a wonderful experience because I have all these ideas and thoughts in my head, but oftentimes we feel like it's it'll take too much for me to sit down and really focus in on that. Like
Mhm.
it'll take me away from all the other things I have to do. So allowing myself that time is wonderful and very important, actually. And then also reading. People ask, what show are you watching right now? I can't really tell you, but I just finished a great book. So I'm sure there's great shows out there. I'm sure there are, but I have trouble now with the idea of sitting for hours when it's like this outside
Mm.
or I could be doing other things that will help me grow. And I think reading is also it exercises my brain and I love discovering new words. I think that's I think it's so exciting. I do, yeah, spend a lot of time outside in nature, exercising, yoga, in a meditative state. And again, I think if I take care of what's going on inside, I'm better
Yes.
able to execute at my highest degree professionally.
There's that wisdom, and I can relate with you when I get asked, what's the latest show? I'm pretty blank because I have to dig back maybe a few years when I had seen the last show. So I can completely relate to that because when we have this kind of weather, barring the few rainy spots we had,
Mhm.
there's so much to do outside. So why sit in front of a screen? So that's awesome. Now, that brings us to my favorite part of the show. We call it the one line life lessons. Mirinda, I would love for you to share your life lessons with us.
Okay, this was a little difficult because, gosh, I've learned so much.
Yeah.
I would say number one is protect your peace. I think what grounds you and maintains your homeostasis, what healthy limits and boundaries must be maintained. I think that is very important. Number two, there's a quote that I love, and the theme of let it go has been huge in the past year and a half. By Lao Tzu, the world belongs to those who let it go. Incredible. It brings you such peace and freedom. Think about that. The third, be not afraid, and which is like getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, befriending the unknown, because there's a lot of that in life and we may not know what lies ahead, but it's okay. Don't be afraid. It'll work out one way or the other. It's meant to be. Another quote, this is by Steve Jobs, is the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. That is so relatable. Again, it is. And I've learned to observe and listen. There's truth in reading body language and what's unspoken because people lie. We become very good actors. So observing more and speaking less.
Thank you. Words of wisdom. And I think one of the great thing about going through that inner journey is it helps us pick and choose these life lessons that we want us defined by, and they help us set or reset that foundation to say, I've become this. I want to keep certain of these things, but I want to redefine myself going forward. And here are the principles, these life lessons that are going to help me and extremely important. So thank you so much for sharing your journey, your story with us. Congratulations on the success so far. And I know this is just the beginning, so lots more to come. And we'd love to bring you back on and share more of your successes.
Thank you so much. And meeting you also, this just goes to show just doing what feels right, continuing that journey. You never know. So thank you so much for your time and what peace you bring also to every single one of our interactions. And this wasn't easy, I will say, to do that, but I really appreciate you and I'm grateful for what's emerged from it and just what you do. So thank you, Nick.